Oh, hello, 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 everybody. Let me, two chat rules. What are they? Please be over the age of 17 and please be kind to one another. Ta-da! Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. And let me pop out the chat and move it over so I can have a halfway decent chance of seeing it, and then move the picture over so it's not in the way. Hello, Mona. Hello, Kenny. Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Judy B. Hello, hello. Welcome to Peaceful Sunday, where all the troubles of the world are left at the door and we just have a happy, healthy place to be. Right? Hello, Kim. Hello, everybody. Um, wow. Thank you all so much for piling in. Um, Happy Sunday. And let's see. Yeah. What's up? I've been a video watching fool this week. I have seen videos by Mrs. COPPA, by Lisa at Lisa's Coloring Corner, by Anne at um, A Colorful World, or no, and sorry, A Colorful Life, and loved her story about Harley. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It is hilarious. She did a face to face, which was so nice to see her face. We don't get to see it nearly often enough. Hello, Michelle of Michelle's Coloring Therapy, Adult Coloring Therapy, and and hello, Robin. See, I remember. Rain Chains for Less. I love that name. Um, and Shannon is at your house. Yay! Hello, Shara, by the way. And hello, Shannon. And big shout out, honey. I was just thinking today, literally an hour ago, that you know what? We all need to talk more, because we sort of after the whole brouhaha blew over, we just sort of lost track of one another. I mean, on at least every, talking 25 times a day kind of thing. Speaking of talking 25 times a day, I have looked up this week. Um, there was a post by somebody that I went to high school with, and I commented on it, and I noticed that my original best friend from when I moved to the mountains, I would have been what, 7, 8, 9 years old, right around in there. My original best friend, who I'd been looking for on Facebook for years, actually also commented. So I've spent a big part of this week sort of catching up with her and her news and all the stuff that's been going on in both of our lives. It's been fun. Sorry, finding out about people that we used to know about, or people that we used to know that we went to school with. That's always fun to go back down memory lane for a little while and do all of that kind of good stuff. So, you guys want to see one of the other things that I did this week? Well, there's two actually. I've made a little bit more progress on this. Now, it's nowhere near done, and there's a couple of things that I want to change. Like, I want this leaf back in here to be much darker because I'm losing my cute little guy in there. But I added some glitter to his wings, which I like. and I made his little boots red. So, and I am working on the background here. I just started it, but the cat decided she wanted to chew the end of the pencil, and she chewed the colored end, which made it wet. So I can't use it until it dries out. So I'm not going to be working on this, but I do love the way that it's turning out. I decided that this, rather than was a little bee, I thought it was another little uh, doohickey, one of these doohickeys, one of those ladybugs. And oh, the iPad won't charge anymore. Oh no. Do you think it's a bad charger? Or it's probably a bad charger. You probably need to get a new one. Um, Hopefully the iPad will still charge though. Or you need maybe a new battery for the iPad. That might be it. Okay, so I've been working on that, and I both. By the way, I finished both of these. Now they are in the Etsy shop now, so you know. And while this particular coupon code doohickey is not good for individual drawings, it is good for the books. So I'm going to go ahead and pop it in. By the way, there is a description or a link for this will save anybody 25% on any of my books, things like that. Yeah, it sounds like it might be the battery, Michelle. Um, but replacing a battery in an iPad, you just either you have to take it to the uh, Apple store, or I'm sure there's a video on how to do it. That's how, they always tell you that you can't really, you got to take it to the or Apple store to change the battery in your iPhone. But I just looked it up. I looked up a how to do it video here on YouTube, and then I ordered the toolkit and the battery, the replacement battery on Amazon. It was like a third of the price of what the Apple store wanted to charge me. And I did it myself. And it's worked for another 4 years. So, anyway, so both of these are now in the Etsy shop. And we're going to color this one. Libby. Hello, Libby. Hello, Jean. Hello, anybody that I might have missed coming in. I'm trying to keep an eye open, but Lord knows I am not really good at it. So anyway, this one is called, both of them are in the news section. This one is called Emerging Butterfly Mandala, and this one is called Nouveau Tulips. Now, it was pointed out to me that this is not really the Nouveau style. It's not really intended to be. I meant Nouveau as in new tulips. Anyway. Okay, here's the other thing that I did. Ooh, Oh, look at how beautiful. I swatched out my Sargent Art Supreme 72 set. That is, wait, it gets better. Look at those gorgeous colors. And look at that wonderful, absolutely incredible gradation. The way that these blend is just amazing. I am thrilled. So this was just regular 110-pound cardstock. The reason I do it like that is, oh no, there it is, so that it'll fit into my book. And I will just simply, I thought this out when I made it, so that there's nothing on the back, right? So that all I have to do is take an existing page, and staple it in. Just like that, and voila. A simple, easy, excuse me, all in one place for my swatch of this. Now, I could have cut it down, made it slightly narrower, cut it down and taped it in, but this is good enough. You got yours yesterday? Tanya, I'm sorry you're struggling. Hello, Sherry. Good, welcome, welcome. And sorry guys. I mean, my lung has decided to seize, so I just need to let it relax just a second. So I was going to pick some colors to do the tulips, and we're going to take these babies for a little better test drive than I showed them to you last week. Last week we, started a sort of, project that was okay, but it didn't really show off what the pencils can do, and I kind of want to find out. So if they perform together the way that they perform individually, I'm going to be really happy with them. So I thought that I would start with this, and I want to do a plum. Now, I want to start with a mahogany. I want to start with a mahogany. Mahogany or plum? No, I'm going to start with a plum. And I am going to zoom you down. So I just love, they are, getting the first one out is a little bit hard. Okay, so I want that plum. And then I want a kind of bizarrely neutral color. So I'm going to go, even though it doesn't really look, there was a really neutral one that I had. Doesn't look so neutral now. I'm going to go with a daisy yellow. Now, the daisy yellow is in the second tray near the browns, which is weird. And a maize. Maize, yes, which is in the yellows. Love that. Now, it seems like these are weird colors, but you're going to have to trust me on it. Okay, and then, hang on, I've got a reference photo. Let me look at it really quick. Oh, I've actually lost it. Let me see if I can leave the screen and look at my reference photo, or at least pull it up. So I can get the colors right. Okay, there's also an orange, which I want it to be a probably a burnt orange. Okay, I'm hoping that the camera is still broadcasting to you. So you're still seeing this, even though I'm seeing something else on the screen. All right, now let's go back to live streaming. And I want a I think I want that pale purple. Pale purple. Yep, and the red violets. So, okay. That ought to do it. And hello, Rise Victor. And welcome. Oh, I don't think it's Rise. Oh, shoot. I don't remember what the umlaut sounds like when you speak. Can you, is it Rizé? Like Renee? Can you phonetically spell it for me? I'd like to pronounce it right. Hello, Fern. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Jean. And hello to all the people that are here. Oops. Okay. And if you like mandalas, I've got some of those too. I've got another new one in my Etsy shop now. So, but we're going to do this one today. Riza. Ah, there you go. Thank you, Riza. Okay. I like that. That's a beautiful name. Riza Victor. I like that. Okay, so I am going to start with the yellow, actually. And I am just going to, now this is a really sort of pale yellow. And I am going to, this particular flower that I'm going to color is got all sorts of pink and yellow banding. And then it's got these doohickeys here, because I drew this from a photo. Not the whole thing, but this particular flower. A photo reference. And so it had these beautiful, rich magenta-like stripes. And then the rest of it was and it's a natural flower. I mean, nobody is a better colorist than Mother Nature, you know? Let me zoom you down, as a matter of fact. See how that is? Are we still in focus? I'm not quite certain why I'm got a dark spot there. Okay. Nobody is a better colorist than Mother Nature. Make sure I've got getting a weird shadow from somewhere. Whoops. Get that cord out of there. Oh, it's the camera. I moved the camera so low that it's got a weird shadow. All right, now Darn, it looks like it's in focus to me. I hope it is. Oh, and that's a paintbrush that was actually, I clipped those paintbrushes to my lampshade so that they can dry in an up down position. I am the mother of invention. Oh, and there is a channel shout out today, and it goes to, I think it's called Robbie and Gary's Gardening Easy. Um, Couple out of Southern California. And the reason why I chose it was it came up in my suggestions. I've been watching an awful lot of colored, uh, or an awful lot of gardening channels, uh, because of course I love Homestead Heart, which I shouted out a couple or last week I think, and and because I just love them, and from them I started watching another channel called Lead Farmer 73. Uh, and that guy is a hoot. But I'll tell you what, I have learned more from him in about growing fruit trees, and more to the point now. You have to remember that it has been years and years since I did any gardening. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to garden. And and I have always, and Kenny, you and I have had this conversation a couple times. What do you do? Both of us like to buy the kitty litter that we use in the, well, I don't know if you still have a cat, but we talked about what a waste it is that recycling won't take those great big buckets, those 5 gallon buckets that your kitty litter comes in if you buy the clumping brand. Hi, Brandy. Welcome, and thank you very much for coming today. Okay, let me see if I can walk and talk at the same time. Uh, at any rate, so that sort of led me to look into, because one of the things, Lead Farmer grows an awful lot of fruit trees, but he also has what he calls an emergency garden, which is basically a 4 by 4 foot space on one of his concrete patios that he puts, in his particular case, he used those concrete mixing tubs, uh, and for a lettuce bed, and they're like $14.99 at Walmart. But then because I've been watching all these gardening channels, up popped Robbie and Gary, uh, and they were talking about, build a raised bed uh, for $5 out of basically an old lawn chair and a bucket. And I looked out on my back deck, and I have both a old lawn chair that I would very much like to, it's just, it was one of the old ones that's white, and it's turned ugly over the years. Um, and I've been thinking that I should probably get rid of it. And lo and behold, I shouldn't get rid of it because it's actually the perfect base for a uh, for this garden. And then you put a $5 one of those Walmart storage tubs that you can get for about $4.96, and you put it on top of, like, in the seat, and you've got an automatic raised bed. You just drill some holes with a, with a punch of some kind in either the bottom or the side if you live in a place where it's really hot. And you're good to go. And I thought, oh my goodness, what a brilliant, brilliant idea. So I have about 40 of those cat litter buckets, right? And I have, those 2 chairs, and I have a, roughly 14 by 14-foot deck off the office door. It would literally be nothing to put a couple of posts up so that I could cover it up with bird netting, and I could have my own garden right off my office. And so that is why I have shouted out that channel, because it's got just a brilliant idea. I need something also darker for in there. I am going to try the burnt sienna. Or actually I may try the black, but all right, well, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going because I want this red violet. And so anyway, these seem like weird colors, but they're not. And I am layering. And then, then if you want to add a little pink in the middle of one of these, you can certainly do that. Just a little stripe of it as you're going. So I was just thrilled to find that. And then I also watched potatoes. Potatoes. Of all things, I will plant potatoes. Well, I have to find out. And lettuce. See, now I don't buy lettuce because basically it just sits in the, if I hate to give $3 or $4 for one of those bags of lettuce, and then I don't eat it all. So I end up having to throw it away. Because I may not want a salad every day. I may want, a big salad today, and then I don't want one for 3 or 4 days. And by the time you go back to it, part of it has, gone bleh, and I don't like wilty lettuce. So a pick your own lettuce garden sounds just fine for me. Because then if you don't want to eat it, you can pick it off and use it as compost to feed other plants, right? I'm also going to pull a golden yellow. So hang on a second. See, by the time I'm done, I end up with 42 colors. So let the 2 things, and onions. Oh my goodness. I want to grow onions, lettuce, tomatoes, yes, but I tried to grow tomatoes the year that I moved into this house. And the potting mix that I got was just too hot. In other words, it had way too much fertilizer in it, and it killed my tomatoes. So I didn't try again. and I probably should have. Mostly, I didn't try again because my my down the street, sorry, my down the street neighbor also grew tomatoes, and his always did really well, and so he never he could never eat all of his, so he would just sort of distribute them throughout the neighborhood. So I never needed to grow tomatoes. Um, but yes, what up to now, what I've used those for is emergency water buckets, uh, both for those times when it's been really unclear as to whether or not I would be able to keep the water on, um, which has happened a couple of times, that they've actually turned it off, or uh, or if we were, expecting a hurricane or something like that in, at which point in time, then I always fill the, fill up water spare, emergency water, uh, just in case, because if the water plants get overwhelmed, they have to shut off the city water, and you don't. That's the last thing in the world you want to be caught without. You do not want to face life for any length of time without access to fresh, clean water. You know, and when it snows in winter, you can. Hang on, it's cutting out part of your word. You can. Uh, we get bit. Well, we don't really get a lot of snow here, although there have been years, like what was it? It was the year I broke my wrist, so it was 2 years ago now, 2 winters ago. Uh, we had a ton of snow for weeks. And how many people have ever seen snow on the sand, snow on the beach, that don't live in Maine, or it's weird. It's weird to see snow on the beach. Absolutely weird. Uh, as a matter of fact, I was telling my friend that her name is Anne. Um, we were talking about, because of course we both grew up in Lake Arrowhead, California, and so it was just absolutely a gorgeous place to be from. Um, but man, in the wintertime, people here get all wigged out over, you know, 4 inches of snow. And, it wasn't unusual for us to have a 4 foot snowfall. So, this is the thing about pencils, is it takes a while, but it's so pretty. I mean, I just think it's so pretty. I don't know if you guys can see the depth of the color or not, but um, but yeah, it's coming along. And anytime you're using pencils, you can just layer your different colors right on top of each other. It's perfectly fine. And you want to remember to leave your bits of light and all of that. It took you an hour to. There, that is so strange. Wait, let me move the. Oh, there we go. Problem was on me. User error. My screen was over my chat. Uh, you can make an igloo. An hour to color one rose. I know. All right, let me move on to. I can spend hours tweaking that. I might want to. I might want to actually change that out for that mahogany. We'll see. Or maybe I could add the mahogany. Or maybe let's see if we add a dark brown. Is this the umber? No, this is dark brown. Let's see what color dark brown actually is. Well, dark brown is pretty dark. I'm thinking burnt sienna is a better choice. Burnt sienna. Let's try adding a little burnt sienna. Oh, that's better. Yeah. See now, if you add your burnt sienna, has a red base. Of course, very often browns are a mixture of reds and greens, and or neutrals. Basically, browns are almost always complementary colors mixed together. But usually from one or actually from the, let's see, greens are yellow and blue. So you can adjust the color of your brown by how much yellow and blue and red you've got in it from each of those families. And so you can put a red brown over a red and it'll look just fine. Yes, that is the missing bit right there. Much better. Much, much better. I'm much happier with that color. So I use the plum, which is really just red and blue, because red and blue make purple. Yeah, I like that. Okay. All right. So you find these pencils silky and blend well, not enough skin tones. I would have to agree there, although I do have to say that there are more skin tones, like, toward the back of the pack. You run into the pales, and look at the pale peach. If you are light enough with it, and even light enough with the yellow orange, or light enough with the melon, those are all, or even light enough with the light brown. They're actually not. They're not too bad. They're not too bad for skin tones. I think it is harder. It's way harder to make good skin tones with them if you don't have a proper skin tone colored pencil. But I really do think that if you can be light enough with them, you can achieve it. On the other hand, they're a great set for making darker skin. And that's something that I definitely wanted, because I want to try, although I'm not big on coloring people, there are plenty of dark skinned creatures that I could color as well, that I can practice that on. Although I could one day, get a wild hair and start coloring people. Wait, Judy, you just ruined your picture. No, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as ruining your picture. There's just, you haven't figured out how to fix it yet. Inkjets. There's no ruining it. let it dry, let it dry, let it dry, and and walk away from it. Put it to the side, Judy. Put it to the side and walk away from it. And then when you come back to it, you'll see how to fix it. That is the best advice that I was ever given, and 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 so I offer it to you because it really helped me. There is no such thing as ruining the picture. You just haven't figured out how to work with it yet, how to work with the mistake. Um, and yeah, exactly. And very often, very often, and you hear me say this all the time, what we think is a mistake is art's way of working magic. Because once you figure out how to fix it, or how to work with it, or how to work it into your drawing, your work, um, all the more reason not to walk away from it, Judy. Or I mean, not to throw it away, or or give up or whatever. Because if it's Jane's work, if it's one of hers, then A, she is not gonna. I promise you, she is not gonna come to your house and beat you up. And and there is a way to fix it. I'm familiar with the book. I don't know what it is that you did, but there's no such thing as I ruined it. There is just no such thing. Okay? Are you listening? If you want to send me a picture of it, you can do that. I'll get with you after the stream. We'll find out how to fix it. Not a problem. So you see how I just added a little bit of the little choir girl angel. Oh, now see, you're not going to have messed that up. That is a wonderful picture. It is forgiving. It is you're gonna be fine. Just walk away from it for right now, and it's gonna be okay. It is gonna be okay. You can. There's absolutely a gajillion ways that you can fix something, even if you've used Inktense. Um, and there's no such thing as I messed it up to the point of it's irredeemable. Absolutely. And sometimes we just have to walk away and think about it for a little while, and maybe mull over it, and don't be hard on ourselves. Look for the magic, because it'll be there somewhere. There's going to be magic in it. I believe that. Trust me. They are. Uh, your Graham's reminding me for wiping paint all over my new dress when I was a little girl. And you created a new style, right? I didn't. Okay. Just ruin your picture. All right. Work around the mistakes. That's see, Michelle, that's really good advice. Work around the mistakes, and you'll be able to get it. You'll be able to get it. uh, And yes, and there are many, many, many mediums that will go right over inktints. Exactly. And Judy, here, let me show you something. Let's see. That's the third tail. This is the first tail. All right, Judy, I don't know if you've seen this before, but this is a picture that I did in in Romantic Country, the first one. And you see the tablecloth, right? You see the way it looks right now? I had totally screwed it up. I mean, totally. It was horrible. And I had done these in some weird orange color. I don't even remember what it was. That just didn't go with the rest of it at all. And I used the white inktints. And I took the, wait, no, I didn't. I used, what did I use? I used white, yeah, I used white inktints. I used the white inktints. I took it directly off the pencil, and I blotted out. I went over as much as I could of the orange, and it was, uh, you know, it was really opaque. The white in the inktints is fairly opaque. Now I wasn't able to eliminate it altogether, but I was then able to go over the whole thing with a darker color, like the fuchsia, which is what I did. And then, because the lines, the flower lines, they were like blotted out, but they were still visible, I just went over those with a fine liner. And so, and I had done it all over this one. This must have 20 coats of ink tints on it. If it's got 5. Same thing here. I had done these yellow. They looked awful, absolutely awful. And yet when I would try to put the pink over them, they'd turn orange, that same color of orange that I'd ended up with over here, because I totally screwed that up as well. So yeah, you can always fix it. I hated this green background. This is water-based marker. But you know what? Look at that streaky pattern and tell me that you don't see silk walls. Isn't that silk, that kind of fabric that is all silky, that's got that weird pattern in it? I see silk walls. I love this drawing. I am so proud of this because I did that entire background. I did the windows. I mean, I added all of this. Oh, the floor planking, the floor I did with, because it looks so awful with just brown inktints. I went back and did it with paint. And so, yeah. Anyway, yeah, you can always fix it, Judy. Oh. Rabbit trail. Sorry about the rabbit trail, everybody. Well, no, I'm not. I learned, no. That's just it. I can draw, but I can't. Coloring is, I have had to learn coloring from you guys. That is the thing, because for the first 3 years that I drew, I never colored anything. I never colored anything. I colored the very first thing that I ever colored, or that I ever drew. I was the first person to color the first picture. And that was only because I needed something for the Facebook post that I wanted to make in in uh, adult coloring books or coloring for adult. I can't, the big group, the one that's got 40 something thousand people in it. That one. Um, okay. Now let's see here. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. I do love the way these blend. I mean, all you have to do is run over the edges of those, any kind of harsh line, and it just blends right out. It's just so smooth. I really like that. All right, so that's to every one of us has our own talent. Precisely. Precisely. Oh no, I turned my coffee off. No wonder it's not hot. Those little warmer things are so wonderful. Need to add some of the dark brown in down there. Okay. And how many people do this? Do you keep all your pencils in your hand like I do? It's like it's I guess it's like an obsession. You need to have them all like with me. So you'll notice that what I'm doing is like here there was yellow, so I put the dark pink there so that there would be a good demarcation. And then here there's pink, so I'm putting the yellow over here. And then I can go with the lavender. I guess I should tell you what colors I'm using. Uh, Actually, lavender, it's pale purple. If you're looking in the set, it's called pale purple. And even at that, I could still add a little, a little bit of, excuse me. 'Tis the time of year when the air conditioner starts to have a little bit of trouble overcoming the humidity. And so the humidity in the house is a little higher than I particularly care for. Mostly, and it almost always causes me to cough. So, in addition to smoking too much, which I do, I also am so, and I know we talk about this practically every summer. It's like, the humidity in the South. On the other hand, you don't want to, if you try to leave it, you go, oh, it's so dry and uncomfortable. And my skin itches when I go other places that aren't as humid. Not that I've been there recently, but I used to go visit my aunt back when I was still working. Uh, and she lived in the high desert of Arizona. And it was so dry. So very, very dry. So that is the golden yellow. This is the maize, which is like uh, it's like a gold. It's probably the truest um, the truest gold that I've ever seen. And when you blend the colors over each other a little bit, they actually almost get, uh, like there's a little bit of a tangerine color there. So lots of beautiful color variation and variegation going on. You can add a little of the dark purple to go over that. This is the red violet that I'm adding because I like the, see, and once again, it'll look a little bit sort of orangish, just sort of an orange tone. Adding these in at the top and the, hopefully I'm keeping my, am I close enough? Are you guys okay? Your lungs sound just like yours, not just from smoking solvents. I did electronics. Ah, military, yeah, exactly. So yes, it is. I also, I mean, I am the last person in the world, and I've said this on many occasions, that ought to be smoking because I had pneumonia so much as when I was a kid. But we are stupid, and we, and I just have never had a reason to stop. So, except maybe not being able to breathe. uh, Tell you what, that will slow you down, though. That'll slow you down. And it's also that time of the year where, because it is so humid, I sleep like a lot. Ridiculous amounts. And I'm going to put the golden yellow down in there because it's just on the edge there and it's darker. All right, so now I can blend out those harsher edges. This is sort of away from the light because remember that my light always comes from over here. In my head, it's just, that's where my light comes from. Oh, I like it. I like it. What do you think? Good colors? Yeah, it very, yeah, and see, Kenny, I did not see. My mother was a smoker, and so I more started smoking out of defiance than anything else. That and and the fact that I had access. Um, I started out stealing one or two of her cigarettes, and then because at the time there were all those uh, vending machines. They used to have vending machines that, now, granted, kids weren't supposed to use them, but there was a particular restaurant where, at a given time of the day, you knew that the the host and hostess, or the host and hostess, wasn't there yet, and the people in the back were busy in the kitchen. And it was right after the lunch rush. So the wait staff was usually in the kitchen, most of them eating their meal. And you could sneak in the door, and the cigarette machine was right there by the door. You could pop in your money, get a pack, and then be gone before the wait person even came to find out why the doorbell rang, or why the somebody came in rang. And so that's what we used to do. Okay, and I I I am going to give these Sargent Arts a an A plus. I am going to give them an A plus as far as a rating goes. I like them. I like them a lot. I'd say that I like them as well as I like my deli pencils, and I might like them a little better. I got to say that. So, Ms. April, thank you. These are absolutely wonderful. And I do hope that you are here and watching and coloring along. I have silent. Now, I was using this burnt orange somewhere. Where was I using this burnt orange? Do we remember? Oh, I know. Yes, I was using it down in here. Oh, yeah. Okay. We'll put it down in there too. Um, and this one is going to be kind of like all purple over here. And then because that is purple, I'm going to go with the yellow over here on this one. And if you run out of places where you can't contrast it, you can always just work with a different tone of the color, like throw in a little orange, or or something like that. So, even though that came down into the purple, I'll blend that out with a little of the golden yellow. Let's see, pull up a little of the maize, which is the gold there. It's actually easier for me to do this if I've already put in the red. So, and this, like I said, this is based on a tulip in real life. And I am not looking at that picture anymore. I used the picture to draw it, and I looked at it quickly just now to verify that I was, choosing good colors. But other than that, I haven't looked at it. This is totally, I'm just sort of just going for it. And y'all know I like variegated colors. I like to. I get bored coloring something the same shade, or the same color. So if it's a blue flower, for me it's going to be blue and green and a little purple, and and 42 different kinds of colors of blue, and there'll be lots of little color changes and all of that kind of good stuff. Like, for instance, these should technically be darker, uh, so because they're in the back, away from the light. So if I throw that purple down then over that orange, see, it turns into this sort of really interesting purpley orange shade. Then I can come up and it just sort of blends perfectly in there. Yep, happy with that. Yes, they are the Sargent Art Supreme Series 72 Artist Colored Pencils set. I am absolutely amazed. I'm amazed, up to now, other than my Prismacolors, and I have those because of Miss Kenny. My favorite set has been these, which were the Deli brand artist grade colored pencils. Now, these seem to both be oil based as opposed to wax based. And these act more like polychromos. They're slightly harder. They layer beautifully. I've colored a lot of really beautiful things with them. And the rest of them, by the way, are in this jar because I was working on a project. And they smell totally different. So these were like $26. And I don't know how much these are today, but they were, I want to say they were no more than 33. I think they were 33. And I am all about budget pencils. There is a link in the description. Kim, if you can grab it and put it in. If not, I'm happy to. If it's easier, I can do it because I've got it. And by the way, so anybody knows, the links in my description are always my own Amazon affiliate links. So if you do use them to purchase my books or any of the items that I show you there that I link to, I do earn a few cents, which I then use to buy things that for this channel on Amazon. I likewise have a PayPal and we've turned on Super Chat and stuff like that for the same reason. Although mostly the money that I get through either PayPal or Super Chat I use to keep the lights on and the internet. Because art is my sole source of income. At least until I can finally collect Social Security, which will still be a little while. Although we're getting closer. We're getting closer every year. Yeah, I looked up, tried to, well, man, this is happy place. We're not going to talk about that, Christine. So yeah, I really have to say, I like these pencils. They are really, they're creamy, they're smooth. They are, there's a big payoff for the amount of pressure that you have to put down. They're not hard on your hands at all. And the price is right. So, it's like, what's not to like? I have, Michelle, thank you. Thank you. That is so sweet. That I love that. Thank you very much. Um, the color richness, the color saturation is what is actually impressive on these. They're highly pigmented. They now they do. I did notice when I was swatching them, I would run my finger over the darker colors like blue, and my finger would come away with a hint of blue on it, which is what leads me to believe that they're oil-based and not wax-based, because generally that does not happen with a wax-based pencil. But I like the smoothness of the oil-based pencils, the polys, now, once again, I don't know the true difference because I don't have polys, and nor do I want them, because I have the delis, which I'm told by somebody who has polys are very, very similar. So somebody, that was Vitruvian Art actually told me that. And I love Rose. I haven't talked to her in quite a while, but more because we're both busy. You try, wait, no, don't be, for being nosy. Are you able to, no, no, Brandy, it is literally it is a hand to mouth operation around here. Believe me. And which is why I am 8 months away from, well, let's see, I'll be 62 in April of next year. So I'll at that point in time be eligible to take early Social Security, and I will be taking it because I got to figure it out. Now, I should say that I had a wonderful career my entire life. I am not averse to working for other people. However, I have reached a mental place where I have simply not been able to do so. Part of it is that ageism is absolutely real. And we don't want to think so, but it is. For what I did, I was what was called a certified senior escrow officer. And I now live in the East. So when I lived in the West, that particular job paid, I don't know, $75,000 a year. Out here in Virginia, you're lucky if you can make 30. And for the amount of legal liability, that's just not enough money. Add that to some very weird real estate practices in the East. And if you are West Coast trained, which is, of course, a very, very litigious society in the West. You're like, people just sue each other for no apparent reason. Um, you get very good at knowing where the pitfalls are, and out here, it's like there's a ton of pitfalls, but nobody is suing each other over them. They get so bad that people just use their power to run over other people instead of go to court and fight. Does it sound like a familiar? Oh, Judy, Judy, you will not throw that picture away. You will not. We are going to fix it. If you need to fix it, we're going to figure out a way to do it. And thank you so much for that. Thank you for the super chat. What a sweet thing to do. And I apologize I didn't see it sooner. So, Brandy, the longer answer is no. The shorter answer is no. No. I am almost always sitting on a shut-off notice for something. And and I've been very, 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 very lucky to have good friends and good good karma, I guess. That's the only explanation that I can come up with, because there have been some times when I just have not known. I just have not known what I was going to do. Pride will often keep me from speaking up, uh, you know, and so you just do the best you can. That's really all you can do in life. And I could take a job at I could if I needed to, I could like get a job at Dollar General or something like that. But I would not be able to draw. And I like to think, although I don't know that it's true. Actually, I do know that it's true because people tell me all the time that I like to make a difference in the world by being positive, even in a negative situation. Does that make any sense at all? By always seeing the light in the darkness. Just like, with as dark as things are getting, between the virus, between people fighting, between, a contentious election, all of that, this is a place, I want this to be a place of refuge, and, a place where you can feel good about your art and create something that you're proud of. And don't worry if you make a mistake. Don't worry if you make a mistake, because nobody is perfect and nobody expects it to be perfect. I certainly don't. When people color my work, it doesn't matter if it's, blended and shaded and colored 10 ways from Sunday, or if it's colored with crayons, or if it's colored, all one color or all pastels or all something like that. Somebody took their time and spent it with me on something that I drew. I couldn't give it up. I simply could not give it up. Couldn't do it. All right, so I need to bring in a different color here. So once again, because see, I ended up with a situation where I had all this coming together and it was all that purple color. So I threw in a little of the orange. And now I'll throw some of the, blend it in with some of the purple. And then also the red violet up at the top. I'm October and you're going on it too. Yeah, exactly, Judy. It's, you know, it is the it is the way of things. And when what am I, okay, and because I can't afford to monetarily support channels oftentimes, because that's the thing. I watch the channel. I watch a lot of YouTube, watch a lot of channels. I'll sometimes I'll put it on when I'm not even here, because then everything runs, all the ads, all the, the whole video. So it gives that channel watch hours. It gives that channel, um, you know, revenue from, from the letting the ad run and all of that. And like if I'm in the kitchen cooking, uh, I might pick a channel that I normally don't, watch for whatever reason, or um, and I'll just let it play, because that way, they're getting the hours, and the all of that. So that's how I support people. And then of course I watch a ton of coloring channels on YouTube. I don't always comment, but and I don't always, if I'm in a live, I don't always acknowledge that I'm there. And that started out for a couple reasons, because when I first started to do a lot of uh, going to live streams, I had just released, or had just released a new book, and and then of course I stopped after I released mandalas, because we had that thing that happened. But so now I go, but I don't always say I'm there. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. And see, now I'm going to tweak and darken up certain areas, and you end up sort of doing this. You can end up doing it for a week, tweaking and adding and blending and all of that. But okay, so it's 3:30. We can move on to a different one, and I'll color this one a different way. Let's see. So yeah, I like that. I like the way that turned out. Ooh, 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 ooh. Actually, we could do it with the leaves as well. But you all have seen me do, multicolored leaves and all of that. So let me pull up. Okay, this one is going to be, all right, so let's put these colors back. Um, this is the daisy yellow. that the daisy yellow? No, that's the pale yellow. Oh, I pulled the wrong color, didn't I? I did. It took me a little bit to figure out that this set sorry, the reason why it's got pastels in the back. That's why these are back there. They're the pastels. Come on, relax. Hang on 1 second. Sorry about that. Are you coming in for comic relief, my dear? She said, well, I was, but looks like the cat is sitting where she normally sits. Which is right where I am happy that she is, because she's not totally on screen. Sorry about that, guys. Oh. And yes, if I have a silent watcher who I know is concerned about that, I did take my, I did. And I, wow, my airways are bound and determined to shut down today. Okay. This is red brown. Let's see what color that is. I'm looking for, and my apologies for that, guys. I know it's, it's often better. It's just being a little stubborn today. Okay, I want the rust. I like the red brown, and I like the rust. So let's try the red brown, the rust. Hi, Donna, by the way. I didn't say hi. And let's see, rust. The rust is next to the burnt orange, Christine. Rust, okay. And the cherry red. The cherry red? Yeah. The cherry red. That's the red orange. That's the cherry red. And let's see. Let's go ahead and pull the maze again. Okay. And you know I'm probably going to end up pulling more pencils. But this will get us started. Okay, so this is our red brown. And I'll go with it down here. And then I'll go into my rust, which is just one sort of step lighter. And then I will go into the cherry red, coming right over the rust. Join those two right about, yeah, right about there. And pull the maze that's not quite the right shape, but it'll have to do. Actually, I think I could do better. Whoops. Let's see here. The maze is not quite right. But maybe the maze mixed with the light brown. Okay. Let's try that. What I want is for this to be sort of a different, I want it to be more of a, yeah, that's it, right there. I want it to be more of a creamy color. So, if you want to, and it helps if you understand a little bit about color mixing, but or how pigments are mixed. But this light brown added to the gold actually makes cream look like a creamier. It's a creamier color, and I don't really understand why, but it does. Okay. So I'm just darkening up with the cherry red. And then going very, very lightly, kind of mixing over that with the maize. That is not what I want. I think what I want is, let's try the melon. Oh, that'll work. The melon is a good shade for that. See what I'm trying to do? But by putting a little bit of the maize down, I'd sort of create a little bit of yellow light. Which is a more natural glow. And these are some of the things that I actually study. Okay, all right, no worries. No worries. Looks like wait, oh yeah. Kenny, I didn't even think to ask. He made it home. Actually, because I know that you'd been disappointed more than once since this thing began. I am just thrilled. Oh, yay. Oh, my goodness. All right. That makes me just very, very happy for you. Can you imagine that? There are lots of people right now that are going through that. I mean, Australia, just announced that they were only letting, they have to, they're letting people back in. Just a few at a time. So, a lot of their citizens got stuck other places. Oh, I like that. I like that. Needs to be tightened up. Oh, that's Christine. Christine L. Sorry, sorry about that, Alicia. Yeah, it's Christine L. So Christine L. Aldridge. That's me. And I got to tell you that I got the using of my name is my sister has a shop, and it's her name. When she created a corporation for her shop, it's her name. And so I figured if I was going to brand myself across all kinds of different medias, which I have done, that I would do so with my name. So that is why it is CL. All right, now see, now I can go with sort of the light brown. All right. Yeah. Eyes were turning color. Oh, wow. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, I bet he has been on quarantine. Probably a good idea since he was on an airplane. Oh, you had to pee? Well, that's what I went and did when I put up the sign. That and coughed my head off. It was like, I knew that if I was going to cough like that, I was going to have to. Not to put too fine of a point on it, but anyway. All right, so now we start all over again. This is the rust color. And so I'm just keeping in mind that my light always comes from over here. I'm just trying to figure out, which the light would be casting sort of a circular patch of lightness right around in there. Let's see. So that was the rust, but that's not the color I should have been using. I should have been using the red brown, for heaven's sakes. That's the color I wanted. That's okay. It won't be the end of the world if I use the wrong color someplace. Or if I use colors that actually clash, like orange and purple. Orange and purple do not go together until they do. Until you make them go together by marrying them or leaving little orange patches down in here or something along those lines. So if you've colored something and you've got colors that are clashing, try pulling that clashing color down into some useful position somewhere in the other part of the piece so it looks like it belongs there, and you say, yay, it belonged there. So guys, I'm gonna have to sell my car. I've come to the decision. I've got to do it. So I won't make it another year. I won't make it until the day until I do. It breaks my heart because y'all know I love my car. I've had Robin, I wanted to more thoroughly answer your question. One of the reasons I'm actually able to do this is that I did in fact pay off my house. So I paid off my house and I have no debt. So it's not like I buy anything, have a credit card or, or stuff like that I have to pay off. I don't. Other than groceries and utilities, I don't spend any money. But I do have a piece of land in Nevada that I've had for sale for 2 years, and it's a difficult sell because it's undeveloped, um, and it is in a spot that, while it's got beautiful building sites on it, it's on an area that is difficult to access uh, because a road can't be engineered in there. So, or at least not for, any kind of reasonable amount of money. I bought it 30 years ago. We had hoped that the problem would be solved by now with enough folks or enough growth in the area that it would be beneficial to for a developer to actually put in that road. But and that may still come to be in the next 30 years, but it hasn't happened yet. Yeah, yeah, it's mine is a Saturn Sky. They don't make it anymore. It's sort of looks like a little mini Corvette. Impractical as all get out, of course. But I love it. I love it. Fortunately, because it was discontinued and Saturn was absorbed back into GMC, there's still plenty of servicing still available on it, and it's a highly desirable resale. So, but push has come to shove, and so it's it's got to go. Now, of course, you do know that the minute that I sell that car, the land in Nevada will sell. You know that, right? And that's what I hope that's what happens at any rate. Because until the land in Nevada sells, I can't replace the car. So, fortunately, I have a lovely bicycle. And if I'm going to pay for groceries to be delivered, I might as well. Because the only place that I drive is to buy groceries or to the smoke shop. And I walked to the smoke shop the other day when the battery in the car was dead. I won't say it was easy. It was hard. Made me realize how little I get out and exercise these days. But it's only a mile away. But it's 2 miles round trip, so. I like it. Okay. I'm hopefully I'll turn it up so that you guys can see the sort of color depth. Oh wow, is it really 356 already? No, I don't want it to be 356. Brandy, thank you very much for coming, my dear, and have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. And I will hopefully see you next week, same time, same place. And I do have I will hopefully make a couple of midweek videos this week. I tried to make a couple of videos, but I kept getting caught up in watching other people's videos, and then I would need a nap. All right, so I hope so. The walk away of what? The car? Oh, that, yeah, the 2 mile walk. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, it's in the when it's not summertime. Yeah, it will be. Yeah, when it's fall, it'll be perfectly pleasant. Um, but we talked about the fact that I don't do really well in the heat and humidity, but I do actually love. I do love to walk, and I love to ride my bike. I've always, always, always loved to ride my bike. So that is pretty cool. But yeah, I figured that if I don't, and of course, I don't even know if I can sell the car. That's just it. I don't know if, that there's going to be anybody able to buy it with what's been going on, but we're going to give it a shot. And like I said, it's still a very desirable vehicle. So hopefully somebody is going to want to take it home. And if they don't, that'll be another story for another day. So this is brown. I'm just going to do this part real quick to show you just what I'm going to do in those little sections. So I put kind of a dark brown, and then I am taking the red brown and just going over it so that tonally it fits in with the rest of the flower. I haven't really changed. I've only changed the depth of the color by putting a darker brown underneath it. But I haven't changed the color family. Okay, so as you can see, you can get some nice results with these. Oops. Let me turn off Posh Paper Lady. I love the Posh Paper Lady. Oh my God. I will say this one thing. I was told once, quite a long time ago, by somebody I really admired, that Black women would save the world. And I noticed all the channels that I watch that I've been shouting out lately are almost all run by Black women. and Posh Paper Lady, Mrs. Coffee, I love her. The Homestead Heart, Lead Farmer 72. His wife is just, oh my gosh, she's a riot. And there's others as well, but it is just so. I just think it is so funny because I'm just not convinced. I am convinced that it is a true statement that he made. That Black women will save the world because they've got such good common sense. Anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed today, and I hope that you enjoy this channel. If you are new here and have not yet, please do consider subscribing, and please, support your independent artists, whether it's me or others that you may also like or even prefer. Um, Sargent Art, I'm going to give it an A plus. And so until we meet again, everybody, next Sunday, please color something pretty. And thank you all so much for being here. Bye, everybody. And Judy, and thank you so much for the super chats today. That is so very kind of you guys. And I think I read something about a PayPal as well. So, yay! I will send you out a little something to say thank you. So, um, bye, everybody. Color something pretty. Have a great week. Remember, art, no mistakes, just magic.